So as we saw after that Colorado ruling, former President Trump's 2024 primary opponents quickly came to his defense following the Maine decision yesterday. In a statement to NBC News, Nikki Haley's campaign said she feels the same about this ruling as she did about the Colorado one, that she would beat Trump at the polls, not with the help of the courts. Vivek Ramaswamy posted a video on social media doubling down on his pledge to remove his name from any state ballot that did not also include Trump's. And here is how Governor Ron DeSantis of Florida responded in an interview last night.
Well, the idea that one bureaucrat in an executive position can simply unilaterally disqualify someone from office, that turns on its head every notion of constitutional due process that this country's always abided by for over 200 years. It opens up Pandora's box.
So we've heard this, Matt Lewis, from just about everybody in the primary. Chris Christie said the same after Colorado. He said, look, I don't think Donald Trump should ever see the White House again, but we should beat him with votes and let the voters decide, not have secretaries of state or Supreme Courts one by one deciding this question. Where are you on this? Did Maine make the right call here?
Well, look, here's my take, and I am a simple country pundit, not even a country lawyer, just a country political writer. I think it's entirely plausible that Donald Trump did incite a riot and that this statute would prevent him, disqualify him from running. I just don't think it's patently obvious. Like, I think it is debatable. I think that the verbiage is vague enough that you could argue it either way. And I think smart people in good faith are arguing it either way. And so I think it's going to go, obviously, to the Supreme Court. And I think a tie goes to the runner, in this case, the person running for president. Like, I just can't imagine the Supreme Court keeping the guy who is now poised to be the Republican nominee off of ballots. I could be wrong. So in a way, I think it becomes political. So Nikki Haley, Ron DeSantis, I would love to go back and see what a race would look like if they had actually attacked Donald Trump and run against him the whole time. At this point, I think that they are probably saying the politically astute thing. Let's beat him at the ballot box. And if by some stroke of luck the Supreme Court actually agrees with Maine and Colorado, then I'm sure they will quietly celebrate that.
John Howman, as you know, talking to people around the Trump campaign, they think two things. Number one, that the Supreme Court will, in fact, rule in favor and say we're not going to be the people to take a leading candidate off the ballot and make that decision instead of the voters. And they also believe that, at least in a primary and with his base, this only helps further his argument that everyone's out to get him, that the deep state and secretaries of state and Supreme Courts at the state level and people in Washington don't want him to be president again. They're trying to take your vote away from him. At least that's the argument from Trump.
Yeah, and it's a good argument from a political standpoint, Willie, so long as the United States Supreme Court, which Trump and his team boast about having as one of the great legacies of his first term, the Trump court. We talk about it all the time. And one of the other, many people have pointed to many ironies this morning, but one of the other great ironies here is that if this Supreme Court takes this case, and I'm worse than a simple country lawyer or a simple country pundit. I'm just someone sitting here watching these guys on the Supreme Court, guys and men and women on the Supreme Court who do things often that we find confounding and befuddling. But in this case, it seems hard to imagine they're not going to take this case given the stakes. But if this court does follow originalism, does follow textualism, the kind of conservative core principles that have driven a lot of conservative jurisprudence on the court, there's a perfectly plausible case to make that this court will side with the Colorado court. And if it does, the great irony here will be that a court that liberals largely think of as being partisan and compromised by conservative ideology, if that court rules against Donald Trump, what will the Trump campaign say then? This is a court that Donald Trump stands up every day out there. One of the main things he has going for him is he says, this Supreme Court, I got these three justices on here. This is my court now. It's now, yes, it's a conservative court. It's a MAGA court. If that court were to sort of decide that the Colorado and now the Maine secretaries of state have it right and the Constitution bars him from being on the ballot, it seems like a huge problem for the Trump campaign and one that is very difficult to rebut politically given the nature of the court.